When I was a kid, the disaster we worried about most was a nuclear war. That's why we had a barrel like this down in our basement filled with cans of food and water. When the nuclear attack came, we were supposed to go downstairs, hunker down, and eat out of that barrel. Today,
Ketika saya masih anak-anak, perang nuklir adalah bencana yang paling ditakuti. Itulah sebabnya saya memiliki drum di ruang bawah tanah sebagai tempat untuk makan, minum, dan berlindung ketika serangan nuklir itu datang.
the greatest risk of global catastrophe doesn't look like this. Instead, it looks like this. If anything kills over 10 million people in the next few decades, it's most likely to be a highly infectious virus rather than a war. Not missiles, but microbes. Now, part of the reason for this is that we've invested a huge amount in nuclear deterrence, but we've actually invested very little in a system to stop an epidemic. We're not.
Risiko terbesar dari kekacauan global adalah di mana jika ada sesuatu yang dapat membunuh 10 juta orang dalam beberapa dekade ke depan, paling memungkinkan adalah mikroba, bukanlah misil. Alasannya adalah kita sudah berinvestasi banyak pada pencegahan nuklir, namun hanya sedikit pada sistem pengendali epidemi.
Ready for the next epidemic. Let's look at Ebola. I'm sure all of you read about it in the newspaper. Lots of tough challenges. I followed it carefully through the case analysis tools we use to track polio eradication. And as you look at what went on, the problem wasn't that there was a system that didn't work well enough. The problem was that we didn't have a system at all. In fact,
kita tidak siap untuk epidemi selanjutnya. Banyak tantangan sulit pada kasus Ebola ini. Saya mengikuti kasus ini melalui alat-alat analisis untuk memantau pemberantasan polio. Permasalahannya bukan pada sistem yang bekerja, namun memang kita tidak memiliki sistem sama sekali.
There are some pretty obvious key missing pieces. We didn't have a group of epidemiologists ready to go who would have gone, seen what the disease was, see how far it had spread. The case reports came in on paper. It was very delayed before they were put online, and they were extremely inaccurate.
Faktanya, kita tidak memiliki kelompok epidemiologi yang siap siaga untuk memantau perkembangan virus ini. Laporan kasusnya juga tercatat hanya pada kertas dan sangat tidak akurat, dan pengunggahannya pun sangat terlambat.
We didn't have a medical team ready to go. We didn't have a way of preparing people. Now, Médecins Sans Frontières did a great job orchestrating volunteers, but even so, we were far slower than we should have been getting the thousands of workers into these countries. And a large epidemic would require us to have hundreds of thousands of workers.
Kita juga tidak memiliki tim medis yang siap siaga dan cara mempersiapkan tenaga ahli. Epidemi yang besar membutuhkan ratusan ribu pekerja. Meskipun Médecins Sans Frontières telah mengatur relawan dengan hebat, namun tetap saja kita sangat terlambat dalam menempatkan para pekerja tersebut di negara-negara.
There was no one there to look at treatment approaches, no one to look at the diagnostics, no one to figure out what tools should be used. As an example, we could have taken the blood of survivors, processed it, and put that plasma back in people to protect them, but that was never tried.
Tidak ada seorang pun yang di sana melihat upaya penanganannya, diagnosisnya, ataupun menentukan alat apa yang harus digunakan. Sebagai contohnya adalah pengambilan darah pada orang yang selamat, memprosesnya, dan memberikan plasma sebagai pelindung pada mereka. Namun hal ini tidak pernah dicoba.
So there was a lot that was missing, and these things are really a global failure. The WHO is funded to monitor epidemics, but not to do these things I talked about. Now in the movies, it's quite different. There's a group of handsome epidemiologists ready to go. They move in, they save the day, but that's just pure Hollywood.
Hal tersebut adalah kegagalan global. WHO dibayar untuk mengawasi epidemi, bukan seperti apa yang saya katakan sebelumnya. Di film sedikit agak berbeda, di mana sekelompok epidemiologi yang sangat tampan dan siaga mereka bergerak dan menyelamatkan dunia, tapi itu hanyalah sebuah film.
The failure to prepare could allow the next epidemic to be dramatically more devastating than Ebola. Let's look at the progression of Ebola over this year. About 10,000 people died, and nearly all were in the 3 West African countries. There's 3 reasons why it didn't spread.
Kegagalan ini dapat mengakibatkan epidemi berikutnya yang lebih mengerikan daripada Ebola. Sekitar 10.000 orang meninggal pada tahun ini, dan hampir seluruhnya berada di Afrika Barat.
There's 3 reasons why it didn't spread more. The first is there was a lot of heroic work by the health workers. They found the people and they prevented more infections. The second is the nature of the virus. Ebola does not spread through the air. And by the time you're contagious, most people are so sick that they're bedridden. Third, it didn't get into many urban areas, and that was just luck. If it had gotten into a lot more urban areas, the case numbers would have been much larger.
Ada 3 alasan mengapa Ebola tidak berkembang dengan pesat. Yang pertama adalah pekerja kesehatan bekerja dengan heroik. Yang kedua, virus menyebar tidak melalui udara. Yang ketiga adalah beruntungnya Ebola tidak banyak mencapai ke wilayah perkotaan.
So next time we might not be so lucky. You can have a virus where people feel well enough while they're infectious that they get on a plane or they go to a market.
Nanti bisa saja kita tidak beruntung, bisa saja kita terpapar dari virus dari orang yang terlihat sehat padahal terinfeksi, di mana mereka ada di pesawat atau pergi ke pasar.
The source of the virus could be a natural epidemic like Ebola, or it could be bioterrorism. And so there are things that would literally make things 1,000 times worse.
Sumber virus bisa saja dari Ebola atau serangan biologi, jadi ada banyak hal yang bisa membuat semuanya semakin buruk.
In fact, let's look at a model of a virus spread through the air like the Spanish flu back in 1918. So here's what would happen. It would spread throughout the world very, very quickly. And you can see there's over 30 million people die from that epidemic.
Kenyataannya bisa kita lihat dari virus yang menyebar dari udara, seperti Spanish flu pada tahun 1918, maka yang terjadi itu akan menyebar sangat cepat sekali. Dan bisa dilihat lebih dari 30 juta orang meninggal dunia.
So this is a serious problem. We should be concerned. But in fact, we can build a really good response system. We have the benefits of all the science and technology that we talk about here.
Ini masalah yang harus kita perhatikan. Kenyataannya, kita bisa membangun sistem respon yang sangat baik dengan memanfaatkan semua iptek.
We've got cell phones to get information from the public and get information out to them. We have satellite maps where we can see where people are and where they're moving. We have advances in biology that should dramatically change the turnaround time to look at a pathogen and be able to make drugs and vaccines that fit for that pathogen.
Kita punya HP untuk memberi dan menerima informasi, kita punya peta untuk melihat di mana dan kemana orang-orang, kita memiliki kemajuan di bidang biologi sehingga dapat melihat dengan cepat patogen dan membuat vaksin dan obat yang cocok dengan patogen tersebut.
So we can have tools, but those tools need to be put into an overall global health system, and we need preparedness. The best lessons, I think, on how to get prepared are, again, what we do for war. For soldiers, we have full-time waiting to go. We have reserves that can scale us up to large numbers.
Jadi kita punya alat yang perlu dimasukkan secara keseluruhan ke sistem kesehatan global. Kita perlu persiapan. Pelajaran terbaiknya, bagaimana mempersiapkan diri adalah apa yang kita lakukan untuk perlawanan itu. Kita memiliki tentara yang siap siaga dan pasukan cadangan yang banyak.
NATO has a mobile unit that can deploy very rapidly. NATO does a lot of war games to check are people well trained? Do they understand about fuel and logistics and the same radio frequencies? So they are absolutely ready to go.
NATO memiliki unit seluler yang sangat cepat, melakukan permainan games untuk memeriksa apakah orang-orang dilatih dengan baik, apakah mereka paham dengan bahan bakar atau logistik, dan frekuensi radio yang sama. Jadi mereka siap untuk bergerak.
So those are the kinds of things we need to deal with an epidemic. What are the key pieces? First is we need strong health systems in poor countries. That's where mothers can give birth safely, kids can get all their vaccines, but also where we'll see the outbreak very early on.
Itulah yang kita butuhkan untuk menghadapi epidemi ini. Apa kuncinya? Pertama, kita perlu sistem kesehatan yang baik di negara-negara miskin, di mana ibu bisa melahirkan dengan aman, anak-anak mendapatkan vaksin, juga mengetahui wabah sejak dini.
We need a medical reserve corps. Lots of people who've got the training and background who are ready to go with the expertise. And then we need to pair those medical people with the military, taking advantage of the military's ability to move fast, do logistics, and secure areas.
Kita butuh unit cadangan medis, yaitu orang yang memiliki pengalaman, keahlian, yang siap untuk bergerak. Kita perlu menghubungkan orang medis ini dengan militer yang mampu bergerak cepat, melakukan logistik, dan mengamankan wilayah.
We need to do simulations, germ games, not war games, so that we see where the holes are. The last time a germ game was done in the United States was back in 2001, and it didn't go so well. So far, the score is germs 1, people 0.
Kita perlu permainan kuman, bukan permainan perang, sehingga kita bisa melihat di mana masalahnya. Terakhir kali permainan kuman ini dilakukan di US 2001, tapi tidak berjalan dengan baik, di mana skornya yaitu germ adalah 1 dan orang adalah 0.
Finally, we need lots of advanced R&D in areas of vaccines and diagnostics. There are some big breakthroughs, like the adeno-associated virus, that could work very, very quickly.
Terakhir, kita perlu penelitian dan pengembangan atau R&D lanjutan di bidang vaksin dan diagnosa. Ada beberapa penanganan besar yang sangat bekerja dengan cepat, seperti adenovirus.
Now, I don't have an exact budget for what this would cost, but I'm quite sure it's very modest compared to the potential harm. The World Bank estimates that if we have a worldwide flu epidemic, global wealth will go down by over $3 trillion, and we'd have millions and millions of deaths.
Sekarang, saya tak tahu anggaran biayanya, tapi itu pasti lebih sederhana dari potensi bahayanya. Bank Dunia menaksirkan bahwa jika ada epidemi dunia ini, kekayaan dunia akan turun lebih dari $3 triliun dan jutaan kematian.
These investments offer significant benefits beyond just being ready for the epidemic. The primary health care, the R&D, those things would reduce global health equity and make the world more just as well as more safe.
Investasi ini bermanfaat lebih dari sekadar siap menghadapi epidemi, khususnya kesehatan, R&D. Hal itu akan membuat dunia lebih baik dan aman.
So I think this should absolutely be a priority. There's no need to panic. We don't have to hoard cans of spaghetti or go down into the basement. But we need to get going because time is not on our side.
Ini yang harus jadi prioritas. Tak perlu panik atau menimbun makanan atau pergi keluar, tapi kita perlu bergerak sebab waktu tak berpihak kepada kita.
In fact, if there's one positive thing that can come out of the Ebola epidemic, it's that it can serve as a early warning, a wake-up call to get ready. If we start now, we can be ready for the next epidemic. Thank you.
Faktanya, ada hal positif dari epidemi Ebola ini, yaitu bisa jadi peringatan dini agar bersiap-siap. Jika kita mulai sekarang, kita akan bersiap untuk epidemi selanjutnya.